I married Jared Knowlton after only knowing him for about 6 months. My parents, my stepfather and mother, my biological father was kicked out of our family a long time ago for adultery. A zero tolerance for cheating is something my mother instilled in me from an early age. Thought I was too impulsive. However, at 21, I thought that I knew everything myself, so, contrary to their advice, they still ringed me. To their credit, my parents acted happily during the wedding festivities, while 25-year-old Jared's parents were extremely nervous. However, I was a little alarmed when, at the reception, Jared's drunken sister happily told me, "I never thought he would stop playing on the field." Being somewhat confused, I did not pay attention to her words, although I remembered later. I think for the first 2 years, Jared and I lived the typical life of a young married couple. He satisfied me in bed and protected me when guys pestered me, without being, however, insanely jealous. However, he seemed to pay a little more attention to the appearance of the females of our species than I would have liked. In the confrontational conversations I had with him about this tendency, he assured me that I was his only reality, and he would never, ever cheat like my biological father did. There was a couple there, Shark and Beverly Wilton, whom I knew from college and who lived in the next town over. We met 3 or 4 times in places somewhere in between. Shark, real name Clarence, in some sense lived up to his nickname. He was the coolest guy I've ever met. Although he was gentle and helpful with his friends, he was not one to mess with, especially if he was angry. This became clear one night when the 4 of us were at a bar and 2 nasty dudes, who must have each weighed 300 pounds, hit on me and Beverly while Shark and Jared were playing pool. Beverly called Shark. He walked up and told the 2 idiots to get out. One pushed him. I'm not entirely sure how the guy who pushed Shark ended up on the ground. It happened very quickly, and he didn't try to get up. I saw another asshole take a swing at Shark. Shark grabbed his arm mid-swing, turned him so his head was over the bar, and then hit him 3 times. Shark threw a $100 bill on the bar at the bartender and said, "For any damages," and told Jared, Beverly, and I, "Let's go." And we left the problem to the bartender. Tom probably had to take care of 1 groaning and 1 unconscious fat man. I visited Beverly in their apartment several times over the course of about a year. For the first time since I introduced Jared to Shark and Beverly, they invited us to their party on Saturday night. It was an enjoyable event attended by about 10 couples, 8 married, 2 dating. Jared and I were having a nice conversation with a couple we'd just met when the guy and Jared got into a friendly argument about some baseball stats. I wasn't really keeping track of everything and was more interested in talking to my wife. But I noticed that Jared does what he often does during an argument. He took out his smartphone, pressed a few buttons, and then said, "Look, Tim, I was right. Mickey Mantle won the Triple Crown in 1956, including 52 homers," and handed my phone to Tim. I suddenly felt weak and tuned out what Tim's wife was saying. Why did I pass out? Because in order for the phone to connect to the Wi-Fi in Shark and Beverly's apartment, you had to know their password and log in, which is exactly what I had to do the first time I went to Beverly. How could Jared's smartphone connect right away when he's supposedly never been here before? Without being too embarrassed, I somehow ended my conversation with Tim's wife, I can't even remember her name, and then apologized. After taking a deep breath and splashing water on my face in the bathroom, I decided that I needed to find out if their Wi-Fi was password protected. It was highly unlikely that they had removed the password because Shark worked in technology and knew the possible consequences of someone watching child porn using someone else's Wi-Fi. When Shark went into the kitchen to get more beer, I followed him. "Tell me, Shark, a stupid question, but is your Wi-Fi protected by a password?" "Of course, Julia. Why do you need a password to log in, to search, or something like that?" "No. I already registered a password when I was with Beverly at least 6 months ago. Nothing has changed since then, right?" "No changes. You look a little pale, Julia. Is there something wrong?" Knowing Shark as I did, I probably should have just said, "I'm fine, thanks," but I didn't. Instead, I asked, "Would you like to meet me for lunch on Monday?" The rest of the weekend, I was like a zombie. Jared asked me what happened, but I just pretended to be a little dazed. I promised to go to the doctor if I didn't feel better by Monday afternoon. Jared realized something was wrong when I was sluggish during sex on a Saturday night. I'm usually a tigress. I thought about canceling lunch with Shark, but I knew he would be able to understand the situation better than I could. We quickly placed an order at a restaurant we'd frequented before, although it was usually just the four of us. And then he muttered, "Okay, Julia, what's the matter?" Jared was able to search your 1956 Mickey Mantle Triple Crown party without getting the password from you or Beverly. I know because I was with him the whole time before. This means that he was in your apartment before. Have you ever seen it in your place? Shark had a very shark-like expression on his face. His eyes seemed to become small, beady, and black, and he partially exposed his teeth on one side of his mouth. No, he wasn't with us. He spat out slowly. You understand technology? Can you conduct an investigation? Yes, I can, was his chilling answer. I cannot believe this, he growled. After a pause, he continued, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Then his behavior changed 180 degrees. I'll let you know as soon as I find out anything. For now, let's enjoy our lunch and talk about something else. Apart from this episode, how did you enjoy the party? In fact, I never heard anything from Shark regarding Jared and Beverly. However, I heard from the police about 3 weeks after my lunch with Shark. Mrs. Knowlton, the female officer asked when she rang the doorbell early Monday evening. There was a man with her, a policeman. I'm Julia Bissell. I kept my maiden name, but I'm married to Jared Knowlton, I answered worriedly. Can we come in? The woman continued. I probably shouldn't have told Shark about the Wi-Fi password incident. I just had to figure it out myself. Shark told cops that he caught Jared and Beverly having sex in bed at his home and beat them both up. I didn't want to hurt them. I just got really angry and carried away. I sometimes visit Shark in prison. He knows he shouldn't have lost his temper, and I apologized to him and told him I should have done things differently. I should have done the research myself. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.